Analysts later confirmed the 40-jet strike wasn't random. The hidden origin of the attack points to a classified F-2 to Shadow program gone wrong. Asterisk, coded distress burst ripped through the operations channel, 40 hostile fighters breaching US airspace at once. Radar screens bled red. Scramble orders failed, and when Emma Bayer launched alone in her F-2, one truth became clear: the real origin of this attack was never meant to be found. Asterisk, the desert night over Falcon Ridge airbase should have been silent, just wind brushing across hangars and the soft hum of generators. But at 2:14 hours, a ripple of static crawled through the early warning network, followed by something no system had ever registered. 40 unknown. Aircraft inbound at combat speed. Inside the dimly lit command center, operators froze, radios hissed, metal chairs scraped, a low-frequency alarm not used since the Cold War began to pulse across the room. Emma Bayer had been asleep for 12 minutes when the knock hit her door like a hammer. Lieutenant Scramble now. Eyes. Situation. She didn't ask questions. She was already pulling on her flight suit before the runner finished speaking. The corridor smelled of engine oil and cold steel, vibrating with distant sirens. Outside, floodlights cut through drifting dust as technicians sprinted across the tarmac. Microhook gives something was wrong. They weren't following normal Scramble protocol. They were running silent, no radios, no loudspeaker orders, no formation prep. Emma reached her F-22 call sign, Valkyrie 1, and immediately saw the first anomaly. Her jet was already powered, warmed, and armed. Weapons crews stood back from it like they were afraid to touch it. That never happened on routine intercepts. She climbed the ladder and dropped into the cockpit, the interior still warm from pre-ignition checks. As the canopy sealed with a hydraulic thud, her radio cracked only once. Valkyrie 1, launch immediately. Autonomous Scramble, do not wait for wingmen. Vector upload in progress. Godspeed. Then silence, no tower chatter, no AWACS guidance, no tactical network handshake, just a cold, empty comm channel. Emma's heart knocked once in her ribs. Solo intercepts were for emergencies only, and emergencies had protocols. Tonight had none. She advanced the throttles. The F-22 leaped forward, afterburners lighting the runway blue. The desert blurred beneath her as she rocketed into a sky carved by moonlight and thin sheets of drifting fog. At 37,000 feet, she finally saw it. 40 aircraft, tight formation, no beacons, no transponders, no chatter. Their silhouettes were angular and wrong, like something reverse-engineered from several different nations' fighter programs, but matching none of them. Microhook gives, and all 40 were heading directly for Falcon Ridge Airbase. Emma's threat recognition system couldn't classify them. Her F-22's stealth skin shimmered in the moonlit haze. Sensors whispering fragments of intercepted bursts. Encrypted burst. Origin unknown. The system flagged them as foreign composite signatures, the kind that intelligence analysts joked about but never published in reports. She opened comms. Command. This is Valkyrie 1. I have visual contact. Confirm hostile status. Silence. Then, a whisper of digital static formed a single coded message. Weapons free. Emma's pulse sharpened. She pushed higher, adjusting trim to bleed her radar cross-section down to the smallest possible footprint. Shadow and silence became her armor, but she wasn't fast enough to beat their lead wave. The enemy formation broke into triads, 3 jets, peeling off like predatory birds, descending through the clouds. Their maneuvers were synchronized with unnatural precision. Not Russian, not Chinese, not exercises. Something else. Something coordinated enough to feel rehearsed. Emma whispered to herself, all right, if it's just me, then they don't get past me. Her F-22 locked the first target at 28 miles. Keyword reinforcement. F-22 pilot Emma Bayer tightened her grip on the stick. The F-22's missile bay doors opened with a hollow metallic slam. She fired an AIM 1-0 that tore through the night, like a needle of burning white. Impact 1. Hostile down. 30-9 left, and her comms dead. Again. Emma pulled into a climbing roll as the next wave lit their engines. Their infrared signatures flared like molten metal. They were pushing toward the base at impossible acceleration, engines running hotter than any known jet could sustain. Micro-hook gives. That was the moment Emma realized these weren't just enemy aircraft. They were running on tech no one had briefed her on. She opened a secure diagnostic on her HUD. Something flickered. A classified code stream, one she shouldn't have been able to see, that originated from inside the base, a betrayal signal. Before she could analyze it, 3 hostile fighters dove toward her, their weapons bays opening simultaneously. She whispered, "This is a trap." From our side, and then the sky detonated around her. Asterisk if you're into F-22 pilot stories, Shadow Wars, or operations the Pentagon never acknowledged, follow along. Asterisk. The night sky was a battlefield of white-hot streaks and twisting contrails. As Emma Bayer's F-22 sliced through the explosion that rocked her canopy, shrapnel pinged across her stealth skin, harmless this time, but it jolted her with the unmistakable warning: the enemy was adapting. Her radar warning receiver flickered, then went dead. Dead, not jammed. That meant something was overriding her entire threat detection suite. Emma stabilized the aircraft, breathing slow, controlled breaths. The charcoal fog layer below her was lit by flashes of distant fire enemy jets diving low toward Falcon Ridge. She needed radar. She needed comms. She needed a wingman. She had none. Instead, she had a code fragment still blinking in the corner of her HUD. Origin node, FRB-SEC_ for access level, unauthorized priority, Redelpha, message sourced from inside Falcon Ridge Base. Specifically, Security Wing 4, the part of the underground facility used for intelligence storage, encrypted vaults, and high-level interviews. Emma's skin prickled under her flight suit. Why would a secure internal node be broadcasting anything inside her F-22's system, and why only right now during an active airstrike? She banked left as 3 enemy fighters streaked past her at supersonic closure, their engine signatures glowing like molten cores. But they weren't chasing her, they were descending in perfect synchronization, as if guided by a single invisible hand. She rolled inverted and dove after them. The airframe groaned under the G-force load. Microhook gives. Emma realized something chilling. They weren't flying attack patterns they had trained for. They were flying patterns someone had designed for them. Someone familiar with US defensive doctrine. Someone on the inside. Falcon Ridge. Valkyrie 1. She tried again. Respond. Anyone respond. Nothing. It was impossible. The base had hardened comm systems. Even if their radar was hit, the command uplinks shouldn't fail, unless someone had sabotaged them before the attack even began. Emma fired a burst from her cannon at a descending fighter. The shells tore into its wing root, and it spiraled smoke into the canyon below. One less, 38 ago, but she wasn't counting kills. She was counting anomalies. She leveled off at 30,000 feet. Cutting power, letting the enemy jets overshoot. As she drifted into the cloud layer, she brought up the code artifact again. The data packet was incomplete, but it held a signature she recognized instantly. Auth key holder, Cole, Grayson Harville status. Active, time of emission, 2 hours, 13 minutes and 44 seconds. Colonel Harville, her former commander, the man who had recruited her into the advanced tactical program, the man she trusted more than anyone on base. A second line of data populated. Message type, override command, open access, protocol, target system, air defense GRID. Emma's blood went cold. High-ranking officer had issued an override code that shut down Falcon Ridge's air defense grid less than a minute before the 40 hostile fighters were detected. There was no misunderstanding possible, no benign explanation. Someone in her own chain of command had turned the base into a blind, open target, she whispered. This was never an enemy strike. This was an invitation. 3 hostile jets looped back toward her now, having finally registered her drop in speed. Emma reignited afterburners, pivoting sharply into a vertical climb. The G-forces hammered her chest, but adrenaline kept her focused. The sky thinned, stars sharpened above her. And suddenly a new voice crackled on a buried emergency channel she didn't even know was active. A whisper, distorted. Human, Valkyrie 1. They're inside the base. Secure Wing 4 has fallen. You can't trust. Static crushed the rest. But the fear in that voice, the urgency, the underlying truth. It wasn't the enemy breaching the base, it was Americans. Microhook gives their jet. Attack was only a distraction. Emma steadied the aircraft, sweat chilling across her back. Whatever had been stolen or activated in Secure Wing 4, it was big enough to warrant killing thousands and triggering a catastrophic international incident to hide it. Falcon Ridge lighting up on every global radar screen. That was camouflage. Her eyes widened as she saw the base below, half its lights dark. Smoke rising from the intelligence compound. She had a sickening clarity now. Someone in her command wanted Falcon Ridge wiped clean before anyone discovered what they'd taken, and she was the only person, airborne, who knew. As she banked toward the base, her emergency channel came alive again. One last fragment. Emma, if you're hearing this, they're coming for you next. Asterisk. Emma descended through a broken cloud deck, the ground rushing upward in ghostly desert gradients. Shattered radar towers flickered below, dark silhouettes against flashes of distant detonations. Vulcan Ridge's sprawling runway complex was scarred with impact clusters. Secondary explosions still rippled across the maintenance sectors as fuel lines ignited one by one, but Emma wasn't focused on the visible destruction. She was focused on the underground structures beneath it. Secure Wing 4, that was where the traitor signal came from. That was where the voice told her the breach occurred, and that was where the thing worth killing, 3,000 personnel, was hidden. She angled south toward the base's venting shafts, her F2 to cut through rising plumes, thermals buffeting her canopy. Low-level flying at high speed was suicidal but necessary. The enemy jets were still circling, searching for surviving targets, and she couldn't let them tag her. The emergency channel crackled again, just static this time. Emma throttled down, switching to passive stealth flight. The F-22's radar signature shrank to the size of a metal bird. She slid beneath the radar horizon of the enemy formation. Her HUD pinged with friendly distress beacons, one after another, dozens, hundreds. Most were stationary. Some flickered out permanently. Emma forced the rising nausea down. She needed clarity, logic, precision, not emotion. Her oxygen mask pulled tight as she banked left, scanning for aerial threats. Microhook gives above her. The 40-jet formation had begun a new pattern, an outward ring, tightening like a vice around the base. They weren't fleeing. They were containing. Vulcan Ridge wasn't just being attacked, it was being quarantined. Emma swept the northern ridge and spotted the collapsed hangar complex. Fires raged through vehicle bays. Something large smoldered in the blast pit too, large to be an aircraft. Then she saw a figure, running, stumbling, dragging something. Emma dipped her nose down and zoomed the image. A single ground crew technician was sprinting toward the open desert, clutching a metal case. Her breath caught. It was a classified transfer, cast the kind used to carry encryption keys or biocoded access drives. They were supposed to remain underground at all times. If one was above ground, then someone had ordered an emergency extraction. Or someone had stolen it. Emma opened a secure channel. Ground contact, identify yourself. The technician fell face first, exhausted. He clawed at the ground, lifting his head toward the sky. His voice was hoarse, barely audible over the wind. Valkyrie, they're inside. We tried to lock the vaults. Harville opened them all. Harville, the colonel, the man whose signal Emma intercepted. Emma whispered, what did he take? The technician lifted the case weakly. Not what he took, what he activated. A distant roar drowned the rest of his words. Enemy fighters descending. Emma had seconds to react. She opened her weapons bay and lined up a long burst with her cannon, not at the technician, but at the two hostile aircraft diving toward him. The first jet exploded mid-air. The second evaded, swooping close enough that Emma felt the turbulence slam through her cockpit. She fired against short, controlled bursts. The enemy finally broke off when she circled back. The technician was gone. The case lay on the ground, its biometric lock blinking. Emma landed the jet in a controlled emergency descent, touching wheels to hardened desert. She powered down everything but life support, popped the canopy, and sprinted toward the case. It was warm, still coded, still linked to Wing 4's mainframe. She scanned it. Inside, a quantum-encrypted data rod, a red-tagged override key, a sealed orders packet with Harville's signature. She broke the seal. Inside was a single line. Operation Chrysalis, initiate neutralization of Valkyrie 1 clearance. Harville primary status, ACTIV. Emma dropped the paper. Neutralization of Valkyrie 1. They weren't trying to kill the base, they were trying to kill her, and this operation had been signed before the attack. She didn't have time to think. A shadow passed overhead, enemy fighters circling back. She tossed the case into her cockpit, climbed the ladder, and reignited her F-22. Dust blasted outward as the engines roared, but before she could lift off, a new transmission cut through. Emma, if you can hear me, Harville just locked the blast doors. Wing 4 is gone. He's going for phase 2 now. You must stop him before he reaches static. She launched skyward. Microhook gives phase 2 wasn't an attack, it was a migration. Harville wasn't running. He was moving something. Something the enemy jets were protecting. Emma locked her jaw, and she went hunting for her former commander. Emma climbed back to altitude. The data case strapped to her leg harness, its red seals glinting in the dim strobe of cockpit lights. The desert below flickered with explosions. The hostile formation had broken into surgical patterns now. No longer carpet attacking but strategically targeting infrastructure nodes. Someone guided them with precision. Someone using insider intel. Harville. Her heart hammered. but her mind stayed cold and calculating. She played this like a chess match. The enemy fighters were pawns and rooks. Harville was the king. She needed to corner him before he completed Phase 2. The emergency secure map updated in her HUD, showing the underground layout of Falcon Ridge. Wing 4 sat at the base of a deep shaft, connected to a lateral tunnel network that led far beyond the main compound, toward secured airstrips used for black budget transport. Microhook gives Harville wasn't escaping in chaos. He was heading to a runway the enemy jets were protecting. Emma accelerated low through the canyons, letting terrain mask her signature. The sensation was claustrophobic, towering cliffs of black rock flashing by at Mach 1.1, wind buffeting her wings, a covert line encrypted at the highest level lit up. The voice was unmistakable. Emma, stand down. Harville, his tone wasn't panicked. It wasn't hurried. It was calm, rehearsed. You were never meant to see the signal. Emma tightened her jaw. What did you do? What had to be done? Static crackled as he shifted channels. Secure Wing 4 was compromised years ago. We've kept something buried far too long. Tonight is the extraction protocol. Extraction. Emma's pulse sharpened. Harville, those 40 fighters, whose are they? A long pause. Not ours. And not our enemies. They're contracted. She felt her gut twist. Contracted, as in rented. Who the hell rents 40 advanced fighters? People with deeper pockets than countries. People who've spent decades preparing for tonight. Emma's voice hardened. You shut down our air defenses. You murdered your own personnel. For what? Another soft, steady reply to prevent a far greater disaster. And because you were the only one who could stop me prematurely. That meaning hit her with the force of a missile. Harville hadn't sabotaged the base to hide from foreign intelligence. He sabotaged the base to hide from her. Emma's hands clenched the throttle. You planned to kill me before this started. Neutralization, not personal. You're simply too good. Too unpredictable. So why tell me this? Because you're already too late. Her HUD pinged multiple heat signatures rising from the underground tunnel. Not jets. Transports. Heavy transports. What was Harville evacuating? Emma turned toward the auxiliary airstrip, 6 miles west of the base. The runway was intact, untouched by enemy ordnance. That alone was suspicious. She zoomed her optics. A massive aircraft was being prepped. Not military, not civilian. Something in between, polluted with modifications, its fuselage extended, its belly swollen with sealed compartments, the kind used to move classified biological, computational, or cryptographic assets. Harville was loading something on board. Or someone. Emma opened her weapons bay. If you bring that aircraft airborne, I will destroy it. His voice returned immediately. You fire on that transport, Emma, and you doom millions. Her stomach tightened. Blackmail, bluff, or truth? What's on board? Harville breathed out slowly, almost sadly. Everything we buried after the Ridgeway incident. The entire archive. The prototypes. The personnel. Emma's blood ran cold. The Ridgeway incident was the most classified disaster in US military history, an event wiped from every system. Even Emma only knew whispers, illegal experiments, unregulated tech, psychotronic neural systems, rumors that the Pentagon itself had nearly fractured over the cover, up. And now Harville was extracting it in the middle of a fake enemy airstrike. So no one could question the loss. Emma steadied her, breathing. Harville, you're going to vanish that archive. That's what Phase 2 is. A moment of silence. No, Emma, I'm going to sell it. Her heart froze. She aligned her F-22 for an attack vector, but before she could fire, shadow crossed her canopy. A hostile fighter, low silent, positioned directly between her and Harville's transport. A second joined it. Then a third, a protective guard. Harville whispered, that transport leaves in 4 minutes. Stop me if you can. Her targeting system lit up with enemy locks. Emma inhaled, and dove. Emma cut into a steep dive, G-forces crushing her spine. 3 hostile fighters pursued instantly, their coordinated movements far too precise for independent pilots. They covered Harville's transport like armored escorts. This confirmed everything. Harville wasn't fleeing the enemy. He had hired them. She skimmed the canyon floor, sparks flying as desert stones clipped her belly armor. Behind her, the 3 pursuers split apart, creating a triangular killbox. They weren't here to shoot her down. They were herding her away from Harville's transport. Emma whispered, not tonight. She cut power, letting her F-22 slip into a stall drop maneuver. The fighters overshot, confused by her loss of speed.